My name's Bradley Guys,
And my name is Adam Pringer.
and welcome to the Hot Swap. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the Hot Swap. I'm back with Mr. Adam Pranger. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot today.
So, I guess I'll go ahead and start off. I've only got really one game to talk about. I mean, we could talk about Shiny Breeding again for the millionth time, because I did that all week. But I also finally got a Pokken Tournament from Gamefly in the mail a few days ago, and I probably played 2 hours of it, mostly online. I went through the whole training to actually figure out how the game actually works, because last week I had just played the demo. I didn't really know. So I guess I would say it's as far as the battling goes, it's got kind of a Fire Emblem thing going on, where in Fire Emblem there's 3 main style of attacks, and they all kind of paper, rock, scissor each other. And it's the same thing for Pokken Tournament. It's got a paper, rock, scissor kind of thing going on. So the main battle starts off where you're in a 3D view and you can freely move about the level, and you can throw a lot of like projectiles when you're in this form, and then certain attacks will break you into a more 2D traditional Street Fighter style fighting, and then you're doing more of combos, less projectiles, like juggle combos and stuff like that. But the way that all this works is there's this paper, rock, scissor method of hitting your opponent into these different into these different battle phases is what they call it. So let's start off. If anybody's played Street Fighter before, they know that there's a thing called breakers in it, where you actually hold 2 buttons down together, and you'll start to charge a move where you can take one attack and break through it and hit them with your attack. There's also this system in Pokemon. It works exactly the same way. That's one way to change the battle phase, and that'll break through any standard attack. Now, you can break that with a throw. And that'll also break a phase, and then you can break a throw with you break the throw with the charge attack. So that's the 3. The charge attack breaks the throw breaks the charge attack, and regular moves break throws, I think, which doesn't actually sound right to me now that I think about it. I might be getting one of the moves incorrect there, but basically that's how you fight. You throw projectiles when you're in the 3D phase. You can break somebody, or you can do a combo move where you've got a weak attack and a strong attack. They both can combo, but the strong attack, if you hit it twice and then hold it, that'll break the phase and break it into whichever phase you're in. So that's another way you can do that, and that might be what actually breaks the EX breaker. That's the third. I'm remembering it now. That's the third paper, rock, scissor. So it's basically like every fighting game you've ever played, really. But the thing that sets it apart is this phase thing, where you're constantly being knocked in and out of different phases, where you're either in the 2D fighting style or the 3D. That's probably the only real difference. That, and it's Pokemon. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to mention about it. There's 3 different types of supports that you can call in. There's ones that just straight up attack. There's others that kind of slow guys down. And then there's actually a third form that can status. And I haven't actually tried a status guy yet, so I'm not sure what statuses add to the battle. I think I need to unlock. I still only have the standard 6 that they give you. And it was basically the same ones that you could use in the demo. But I have noticed online that there's lots of other supports that guys were using. So I'll have to play more and unlock guys. And then I can really see how these status attacks work, because I've only seen physical attacking where they'll come in, they'll do like a fire blast, or I've got the electric squirrel Pokemon. What's his name? Empoleon, something like that. Oh no, Emolga I think is his name. Anyway, he comes in and he throws like a thunderbolt, which is just a standard attack. It doesn't like paralyze or anything cool like that. I think that's pretty much all. Oh, I wanted to mention that the online works really well. I only had one laggy fight. For the most part, it felt really good. It actually felt better than Street Fighter did. Street and Smash Brothers too. They all have a natural input lag, but this game's a little bit slower than those two. So I think it can balance it out just because it's not as quick paced.
Okay.
And that's all I know so far. I've barely played the story mode. Oh, I will say that when you do fight, you do level up. You get experience points, and for the first 10 battles, I was leveling every battle. I don't know if that's because I was playing well or if that's just how the game is. And you can manipulate the Pokemon you've chosen. You can manipulate either attack, defense, or you can actually boost your support or how fast you get your meter build up. Your synchronization meter, I think it's called, something like that, and that's what actually lets you turn into your mega form or do your mega move, and you do that by hitting both the triggers together. Once you go into your mega form, you can actually, just like using an EX breaker, you can go through one attack just naturally. But then if you hit L and R again, then you'll do your ultra move, and they all have different crazy ultra moves. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so I like it. It's pretty much what I expected. The Pokemon character roster's pretty good. It's large, and I assume there's a few more guys I'll be able to unlock, and who knows, maybe they'll release some guys like they do with Smash Brothers. But I think nice. It's pretty big just off the get-go. I was surprised. I mean, if you remember the original Smash Brothers, there wasn't too many characters in that game. This game starts off with, I want to say there's at least 20 guys, it looks like to me.
That sounds about right.
So I'm just going to say for now I like it. I want to play a little more. I probably won't bring it up here again for a little while, but I will want to discuss it again in a future episode.
Okay. Sounds good. As far as I go, I wanted to prove you wrong and actually play Link Between Worlds. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been playing that a little bit. I only have about 3 hours into it. Mm-hmm. But I can say that it is very enjoyable. It's got all the things that I really like from most Zelda games. Great music, good graphics. The 3D is actually really impressive on it.
Yeah, I agree.
I was surprised at how much I liked it. Like when I first started to play it, I kind of had like a whoa moment. Like, oh, this is like really brings a lot of depth to it, and
it's cool. I was I hadn't really been using 3D for a while before that. That was one of the first games I turned it back on again for, because I heard it was good. And like you said, I was surprised too. It was kind of like whoa, look at this. It looks really cool.
Yeah. So I've played through 2 full dungeons and started a third to get all of the pearls. Mm-hmm. So the game hasn't really opened up for me. One of the things that I kind of found a little annoying was the fact that the markers on the map, which I didn't really feel like were necessary, tell you where you need to go, but don't tell you the next place you need to go in order to get to that location.
Right.
And that is something that I'm not... When you're going to place markers, you probably should place them in the spot where like you really need to go. Unless... There's ways to get around that. But I kind of was a little annoyed that I knew I had to get to this place, but I didn't know exactly what I had to do in order to get there in the first place. And what else can I say about it? And I kind of wish that the Ravi character had the shop available more immediate, more immediately.
But have you gotten to the point yet where you can actually buy stuff from him?
I have.
So that's kind of cool though, that they let you. I mean, everything's available pretty much right away.
And even though it's not that expensive to do so, because I probably could buy quite a few things, I haven't. I've only stuck to just buying what I absolutely need to get to the next dungeon.
Right.
Just in case I do die, I don't have to go back and rebuy them, which I assume I have to do.
I don't know.
At least I think at least for a point. I was looking into it. I think for at least a point in the game, in the beginning, you have to re-rent the item from him if you die, but later on in the game you just buy them outright to
Right.
keep
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how. It's been a while since I've played it, so I had actually
Yeah,
completely
understand.
forgotten about that character until you mentioned his name. But it is cool how you can rent stuff. That's something kind of new to. I mean, you can rent whatever you want. Almost everything's out for you right off the get go.
Yeah, in the beginning part, usually you only have a couple of dungeons you need to go to, and so it's not that open as far as what choices I need to make.
Hmm.
Um, but I do know that after a certain point, it's going to open up to me, and really it's going to give me the freedom to go to whatever dungeon I want to based on what items I buy from him.
Right.
So I kind of like that, being able to mix it up and kind of do them in the order you want. Um,
Yeah, it's very. It's almost Zelda One-ish. That was the last one I can remember where you could actually shake up the order a little.
yeah, it would. I think it'd be interesting if they kind of took a more Mega Man approach, where you could go to any of the dungeons, but as you go through that dungeon, you unlock a power that may help you in a different dungeon. And
Right.
depending on what order you do them in, it would be easier or more difficult.
Yeah, that would be cool. Maybe they'll do that for the next one. I don't know.
I mean, the next one does look to be an open world, more unlike the other console games, to where
Mhm.
it's going to be kind of you're free to go wherever. So
Yeah,
maybe
whereas
so.
the other console games, it looks like you should be able to go wherever you want, but
Yeah,
it's on rails for the most
yeah,
part.
yeah, which is not a huge deal, really.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, the only other thing that I wanted to mention that I haven't playing is I took some time to play Super Mario Maker again, and I do believe that I have made my best level so far.
Oh, great. I'll have to play it.
I can't share it yet because it's involved in a certain set of levels that I need to finish.
Hmm.
Um, so I have to hold on to it and not share it with you. But
Okay.
after playing through it a couple times, I really like the way it's laid out, um, and it's got different phases to it, which is impressive for such a small level. So I hope you like it as much as I do.
Oh, I can't wait. And yeah, so be expecting a video of that eventually. As soon as if he's putting up a set of levels, I'll probably be working on another video soon.
What I'm going to try to do is have another four sets of four. That's what I'm working on right now. And
Cool.
I'm about halfway through it.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait. So is that
But
all you've been getting into?
yeah, it is.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, you could tell we had a little bit of a busy week. We've been working on the show and stuff. We didn't really get a chance to play a ton of games, but you did prove me wrong, and you played some Zelda. So I'll admit,
And it's good enough that I'm going to keep playing it too. So
great. That's what I was hoping you would say when you finally gave it a chance. So let's go ahead and take a break. I'm going to go ahead and choose the first song here. I'm going to go with the Moon theme from DuckTales, and we will be right back. We are back for segment 2. We're going to do... I don't think we've ever done anything like this before. We're going to do movie games. I guess we'll say it's our favorites. I pretty much just chose a few Nintendo-based movie games that I enjoy. They're not necessarily my favorite movie games of all time, but they're my favorites as far as Nintendo systems go. And we're gonna start off with NES. I'll try to go in chronological order or whatever. So we'll start with NES, and I chose Batman for my movie-based game for NES, the original that Sunsoft made, which that I like a lot. I've talked about it probably the whole time we've been friends. And there was actually a few others I like, but I just kept coming back to Batman. I just think it's a great action game. It's got some of the best music on NES. I love the colors of it. I like the cutscenes are really cool. I think it's crazy that Batman kills Joker at the end of it. I thought that was pretty. I mean, he literally picks him up and chucks him off that building. I mean, there's no way he's surviving that. There's no water down there. Nothing but asphalt for Joker to land on. So yeah, I mean, I'm guessing most people have probably played this game. It's really cool. It's a 2D side-scrolling action platformer. You can punch. You've got 3 different weapons you can throw, and you can wall jump, which is what makes it really cool. And it's kind of interesting. You actually stick to the wall a little, so you can do a lot of crazy shortcuts in the game that you wouldn't normally be able to do unless you fully mastered the wall jump. It's great for practicing for speed running and stuff. It's like I said, it's got tons of shortcuts. The enemies are all kind of generic. They're not very Batman-y until you get to the end and fight Joker. Honestly, I can't think of any of the enemies that were like in any of the movies, the comics. I think they just threw up some random guys. But it's got Joker at the end, so it's a Batman game. So that's pretty much all I want to say about that. If you haven't played this game, I don't know if it's on Virtual Console or not, but figure out a way to buy it, find it, definitely give it a shot because it's really fun.
Well, I also picked Batman.
Oh man!
No, that's good. That's good. It's a consensus on how good Batman is. I really was. I came to the conclusion that Sunsoft was probably one of the best developers for the NES.
Right, yeah.
They were just able to push out the best graphics on that system, the best music.
Yep. Them and Capcom, they would be the top. And Konami, too. Let's give Konami some due. They've got some great music, too, and great graphics. Yeah,
but some of Sunsoft's later stuff is just really incredible and pushing the system to its limit.
Yeah, I agree. I did not see that coming, guys. I did not think Adam would pick Batman too.
Well,
I guess we covered that one good enough.
Yes, we did.
So let's move on to go ahead and do Game Boy next and keep it in order. I don't have a Game Boy game, but you do.
So the Game Boy game that I picked is not a game that I've played, but in going through this process of looking through games, I discovered something that I am immediately attracted to for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons I like the way we're doing this list is that we're sticking to trying to find things from specific systems that I think typically get overlooked when other people make best movie game lists. And so you're not going to see a lot of Game Boy games on best movie game lists. And I found Ghostbusters 2. It is made by HAL Laboratories.
Oh, wow.
And the sprites in it are really adorable. It's really a weird-looking game in that you pick 2 characters, and then you play as a character whose job it is to shoot the ghost. And the other character follows behind you, and you have to basically get out of their way so that they can trap the ghost.
Oh, wow.
And it seems like a pretty simple concept of clear a certain area out of all the ghosts, and new ghosts will spawn as you start to clear some of them. So it's almost got like an arcade type of feel to the game,
Hmm.
and it just looks really cool, and I really want to play it now.
So
And
it's not like the NES or the Genesis one where
no,
you got the overhead map and you're driving the car around, and
oh no, it's very different from that.
it sounds like it's more fun because those games aren't very fun.
It almost like if you were playing Luigi's Mansion but with two people.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that does sound pretty cool.
I'm very excited to. I'm gonna try and find a copy of this to play because it looks really cool. And so I had to mention it just because Ghostbusters is really cool. HAL Laboratories is a fantastic company.
Yeah, agreed.
And it fits the category of movie game.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah, so that's the one I was gonna pick.
Also, I'm glad he was able to find one because I pulled up a master list of Game Boy games, and I tried to think back to all the games I had when I was a kid, and I didn't have any movie games on Game Boy, not a single one. So, cool, let's go ahead and move on to Super NES then. I chose Aladdin by Capcom on Super NES. Another awesome action platforming game. It's got all kinds of throw or tie-ins to the movie, which I love. I was pretty obsessed with Aladdin when it came out. I mean, I was right in that age bracket. I want to say I was probably like 12 or 13, so I really liked it. I had the soundtrack. We went and saw it like 3 times. And then I got the game later for Christmas, and I was pretty excited. The only thing I'll say about it that's kind of a bummer, it's a little short if you have any kind of skill in platformer games. And I did beat it that night on Christmas. I mean, it didn't even last a full day for me. But I liked it so much that I probably went back and beat it 100 times. I just really like playing through it. So that's pretty much all I got to say about that. And you got the genie all throughout, and that's pretty cool.
It's a very good game. I think I only rented that, but it's
Okay.
definitely a very good game.
Yep.
Very, very similar. I picked Lion King for my game.
I also liked that game, too. It was pretty fun.
Yes. I think I liked The Lion King better as a movie overall. And I liked the same with Aladdin, but I think The Lion King, I guess they had about the same amount of like very weird levels. The
Yeah.
Lion King, Aladdin definitely had some of them, and The Lion King I remember had the caravan level where you're just like hopping on animals and
Yeah,
stuff.
the wildebeest, since you're like...
Mhm.
You're like, oh, they had the 3D version where you're dodging the wildebeest, and they had the 2D version where you were jumping on a bunch of animals and stuff, too.
Yes. A couple of the things that really stand out to me, other than the music being awesome, is there were a lot of really cool combos that you could do, like platforming combos in that game.
Mhm.
And the other thing that really stands out to me still is there's a part where you're climbing up like logs that are flowing down a waterfall.
Yep. Yeah, I remember
And
that.
it's really difficult.
Yeah, and the boss battle at the end is really difficult. I
Mhm.
mean, this Lion King is definitely harder than Aladdin, for sure. It's got some really tough parts in it, I remember, when I was a kid. Maybe now I'd be able to get through it pretty easy, but I struggled when I was a kid to beat that game.
But Capcom was at the top of their game as far as license stuff back then.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I had a feeling you might pick Lion King, so I'm glad I picked Aladdin. All right, so I guess next would be Game Boy Color.
Well, I don't have anything for Game Boy Color.
I didn't
Most-
write anything down, but since we've been mentioning all these Disney games, I thought of one that's actually pretty good. So I don't know if you remember when they made the remake of Tarzan.
Okay.
They made the animated Disney Tarzan. The guy kind of had dreadlocks. Kind of looked like the new Bionic Commando, actually.
Yes.
That game on Game Boy Color is actually really fun. And it's another 2D platformer, but what was cool about it is what I liked about the Tarzan movie is he was kind of like a skateboarder, so he would like grind on the tree trunks and he would do crazy flips around branches. And you get a lot of that in the game. You're actually sliding down, you're like grinding on tree branches and swinging around and doing crazy backflips off of stuff. And it's just another really good movie-based platformer. That's all I could say. If you haven't played it, give it a shot. I'm sure you could get it really cheap. I don't think it's on Virtual Console, but that's one I would mention for Game Boy Color, just so we can have something on there.
Okay.
All right, cool. So let's move on to, I guess it would be N64 next, right?
We can go there.
Yeah, cool. And I have a feeling we have the same game here. I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Okay. I have chosen Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer.
Oh wow, we do not have the same game.
Oh, okay. Um, this is a game that I uh, played through a ton with my younger brother,
Hmm.
taking turns going through levels. Um, there wasn't there wasn't a lot of games, racing games, that gave you as much of a sense of speed as that game did,
Yeah.
and also the ability to upgrade your ship
Right.
with all these different parts. You could kind of customize it the way you wanted to play. I'm pretty sure at the time, me and my brother mostly cared about speed, and so we were probably just making things only to haul ass. I
Yeah.
would assume
Seriously.
so. But it was my favorite part of the movie was the pod racing scene. I think most people probably agree with me on that.
I like
And
it. I'm with you. I like the pod race. Darth Maul's probably still my favorite part of the movie, but
okay.
I do like the pod racing parts as well.
And I don't know. There's that game was really good, and it sucked me in, and I played a ton of it. And I like most Star Wars games. Usually, they're usually pretty good games.
Yeah, I would
Um,
agree with that.
and this one is just one that has always just stuck with me as being a really fun game.
Cool. I also enjoy pod race. I never played the N64 one. I didn't jump in until 2,
Okay.
which I played on a different system. But I also probably played 100 hours of that game. So I do like the pod racing. Let's just say the pod racing series. I also enjoy it. It's really fun. And like you said, it's really cool. You go real fast. You can smash in other guys and blow them up. And you can upgrade your vehicle, which is really cool. So I agree with everything Adam just said. So my N64 game is GoldenEye. And I was convinced you would pick GoldenEye. I mean, what can we say about GoldenEye has been said 100 times. It was the first real awesome multiplayer, FPS shooter game. If you go back and play it now, the controls feel a little clunky, but I think the nostalgia is still there, so you could still probably go back and really have fun. Just don't let anybody get the gold gun, because that thing's cheap with the one-hit kill no matter where you shoot them. I didn't really care about I really liked the movie. I went and saw the movie. That didn't have any bearings on me enjoying this game, though. I just really liked how it controlled. I didn't care about single player at all. It was all about multiplayer for me. So it's funny that I choose that as my favorite movie game when I'm not really doing anything that involves the movie. But, whatever. It's still James Bond. It was still awesome. It was probably the best N64 game at the time when it came out, besides maybe Mario 64, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. That's all I'm going to say about that one. I guess we'll move on to GBA next.
Okay. So I have a game, and I've mentioned this, I think, before on our other podcast, which is Astro Boy Omega Factor.
Which I've always wanted to play.
It's made by Treasure
Yep.
and Hitmaker, and for a movie game, it's kind of like Batman, where it has very little to do with any actual movie or anything like that, and is just a side-scrolling beat-em-up shooter game.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much what you would expect from a Treasure game.
Right.
And it's just, I had seen it a lot and just kind of discarded it as being a throwaway game made by Sega.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't realize it was made by Treasure initially until one of my customers told me about it. He was like raving about this GBA game, and it's a really awesome game.
It is. It's really cool. I've watched multiple videos on it. I don't have it. I've never been able to buy it. I saw it in the store once, but it was really expensive. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could emulate it. I try not to emulate, though. I try to get the cart first. Emulating is a last-ditch effort for me to play something. So I still hope that one day I can get this game. Do you own it?
No, and the only reason I ever got to play it is because of this customer who loved it so much. He would go to different GameStops and buy copies of it because he liked it so much.
Oh, wow.
And he had a copy and he let me play it.
Cool.
And so that's how I was able to play it.
Yeah, it's cool because the videos I watched, it mixes up platforming, beat 'em up style with there's even like shooter style where you're flying
Yeah, there's
around,
some shooting, like
shooting style
side-scrolling
levels.
stuff.
Yeah, it's totally treasure. If you've ever played any of specifically their GBA games, they all kind of feel like this Astro Boy game from what I could tell, and they're all top notch. So you've got Gunstar Heroes, which this game is kind of like Gunstar Heroes with an Astro Boy skin. And then you've also got their what's their other game they make? It's called like Legendary Heroes, and that's more of like a medieval knight style. But again, you're shooting laser beams that are magic now, not lasers, and you're action platforming. I mean, Treasure's got their formula for GBA, and
they certainly have a type.
And Astro Boy's usually on a lot of top 10 lists for GBA when I watch on YouTube and stuff. So I'm not surprised that you brought that up. I didn't even have any movie games on Game Boy Advance again, so I didn't really have anything to pick. So I'll choose Astro Boy too.
Cool.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to. Let's go ahead and do GameCube next.
Okay.
And I have a game. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
For GameCube, I'm going to choose Spider-Man 2, which might actually be top 5 favorite GameCube game for me. I really like that game. I put a ton of hours. I really like Spider-Man in general. I played the first Spider-Man movie game, which I had a lot of fun with, but it's very linear. It's pretty much all rails the whole time. Spider-Man 2 was probably the first real open-world game I ever played, besides maybe like the original Grand Theft Auto on computer, where with the weird overhead view. So, man, what can I say about Spider-Man 2? It improved on everything that Spider-Man 1 introduced. It still had all the awesome voice acting and story elements. It completely followed the movies. Added some other enemies in, too, because you'd have to. I mean, 2 enemies isn't going to get it done. So, more enemies. It's completely open world. You can swing all around New York. You can even do his slingshot move and go out to Statue of Liberty, where you actually have the slingshot over the water and then grab like 5 helicopters to get out there. But you can, I mean, that's how open world this game is. You can completely level them up, learn new moves, power up. You can get new suits. You can spend your whole time just swinging around New York. That's fun. You don't even have to do anything. Just swing around. Or you can spend your time going and looking for submissions where there's like guys robbing banks, robbing jewelry stores, high-speed chases. There's all kinds of different submissions. Or you can follow the story, which basically follows the movie with some added enemies in between. I would say it's one of the best, most complete movie-based games that I've ever played. And that's why I still, every once in a while, put it in and go back to it, because it's really cool.
Awesome. For my game, I ended up picking Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee.
I've played that.
I think it's funny how they added the word melee to it. I don't know where they would have gotten the idea to do that.
On a GameCube.
Yeah, it seems weird.
It's pretty funny.
This is a pretty good, just beat 'em up, destroy the environment type of fighting game.
Yep.
It's got a lot of fun Godzilla characters. And there's not really a ton that I can say about it, other than it's probably the best Godzilla game. Yeah, it's the best Godzilla game, and it knows what made the original movies fun, where some of the other games didn't really get that. Although they're kind of based on some pretty terrible movies in a lot of cases too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I almost wanted to pick The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction.
Oh man, I've always wanted to play that game.
The only reason I didn't pick it is because I didn't really think it was based on any specific movie or even a cartoon or anything. I think they were just trying to use the Hulk license up at the time.
Yeah, exactly. And they were working on that locomotive engine or whatever, because that's the same engine they used in a game that wasn't on Nintendo. I'm blanking on
Prototype?
Yeah, that's the same.
I think it is Prototype.
It's the same engine they used for Prototype, and I believe they even manipulated it again for Prototype too. But I enjoyed Prototype, but the whole time I was playing, I just kept thinking, man, everybody says this Hulk game is so awesome. I would much rather be doing what I'm doing in Prototype, but as Hulk.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You can like use cars as like gloves. and some
That's
weird
awesome.
stuff like that. Yeah, it's a fun game for sure.
Do you own that one?
I don't own that one.
Oh man, me neither. I'm gonna look for it after we sign off. I really
Awesome.
want to play it. Okay, so I am out of games, but you've got a couple more, right?
Yeah, well, I have one more game, and this kind of proves the point we were talking about before, where basically movie games have died.
Yeah,
They've become only Lego games, which aren't terrible.
but it is getting a little redundant in my opinion. After you've played your 20th Lego game.
Hmm. And so I wanted to mention Cars 2 on the Wii.
Okay.
It's a Disney Interactive Studios game. It was kind of Disney Interactive's last-ditch effort to make a game and have it sell well. They had previously worked on a Toy Story game,
Hmm.
and there was a mode in that game called the Toy Box mode, and where you could like basically build your own environments and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
And a lot of people were raving about the content of that for that. I think it was for Toy Story 3,
Hmm.
and really being like a very good movie game. Cars, made by the same people, is not as open ended and like free to like create your own stuff, but it's a very solid racing game.
Hmm.
It has a lot of the modes you would see in Mario Kart, or something like that. Multiplayer battling, racing, but it also has some more interesting multiplayer modes, as well as some like story-based objective missions for racing as well.
Okay.
And it all kind of comes together in a pretty good package. And they basically took a lot of the elements from that game, as well as the Toy Story 3 game, to develop the Disney Infinity games.
Yeah, see, when you started saying Sam, Toy Box, all that, that's immediately what I started thinking of was the Disney Infinity stuff.
Yes. And so basically those two games are the parents of the Disney Infinity series now, which is it's got a lot of good stuff going on for it there as well. But I just want to mention Cars 2 because as you know, it has some pretty good competition with Mario Kart Wii.
Right.
But I think it holds up pretty well and actually does some things probably better.
That's cool. I've never seen the movie, and I actually had the game. I got it in like a bargain bin for not for Wii. I had it for another system. I never played it though. I think it might even still be sealed.
Oh, okay.
So maybe I'll pull it out. I'd have to hook that other system back up though. Maybe I'll just try to find the Wii version. Try the one that you like.
Okay. Real quick, I did want to bring up the fact that despite Lego games kind of being stale, the trailer for the Force Awakens Lego game acts as though they're really like opening it up to being able to beat the levels in different ways and give you more freedom to play it the way you want to. Now, I don't know if that's just jargon they're using to make it sound cool, but it does look like it's trying to actually do something new for the Lego game series as a whole.
Okay. I like that. What they could do to pull me back in though is just to give me a Lego game. It could be based on Avengers, Star Wars, one of the more actiony franchises. Give me more options for combat. That's what I love the building. I like the exploring. Obviously the games are funny as hell. They make me laugh all the time. But I get bored with just pressing X over and over again. And I can jump and I can swing my weapon, and that's pretty much. Even like the Batman games, yeah, it's kind of cool that you can like throw your batarang or switch to a bat suit, but still, that's only adding one more attack. And I would like it to be more open. Just make one that's a little more complex, because I figure even if they're trying to keep it simple for kids, you can do that. You can have simple combat, but have stuff for people that want to do a little more, in my opinion.
Yeah, and also, even when I was a kid, I was still playing some pretty complex stuff. As a very young kid.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too. So that's all I'm saying. If they're listening, just give me one Lego game with a little more complex combat, and I would be happy. I'd probably jump right back on board and start buying all the Lego games again. Whereas I probably haven't bought one in 10 years. Not since Star Wars. Honestly, I don't think I've bought one.
Okay.
Maybe a Lego Indiana Jones, but that's just so I could use it to do a glitch on a system. So I'm trying to see. I'm just checking my notes here. I don't think that's anything else. So let's go ahead and take a break. That was a cool segment. I'm hoping in the future maybe we could do some TV based games, maybe comic book. I mean, we could talk about it, go through a bunch of different stuff. Maybe leave a comment, guys, if you have some ideas of some movie based games that we should have mentioned, or some other TV show games, stuff like that. And it's now Adam's turn to pick the song. This week he chose Bothersome Guys by Mother 3. So we will be right back.
And now it's time for some news.
All right.
So the first thing, I just showed Brad here a video of this. A game called The Battle Cats Pop is getting localized for the Western audiences here.
Yep.
It's basically a tower defense side-scrolling game, similar to Sword and Soldiers.
Yeah, it looked just like it, but with crazier art and crazier battles. Man, that's all I can say. This game is crazy looking. I'm definitely getting it.
Awesome. I'm very excited about it. It's one of those kind of goofy Japanese games that I just assumed we would never get.
Yeah, I was surprised when you showed me the clip. I'm like, man, they're actually localizing this game. It's one of the weirdest games I've ever seen. Just aesthetically, it's really looks like the gameplay is pretty on point with most side-scrolling tower defense games. But the art is insane.
Check it out, guys. The next thing I wanted to mention is that Sonic, the restaurant, not the game character, is going to be having Mario and Luigi Paper Jam toys.
Oh, cool.
Starting today, I believe. So if you want to get a kid's meal at Sonic, you can get a Mario toy.
Yeah, get those tater tots. They're banging.
Yes. The Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE game was announced that it's going to have a limited edition here, similar to other Nintendo limited editions. It will come with an art book, a soundtrack, I think stickers.
Oh, maybe? Cool. I do like me some stickers.
Yes. And so I probably will be getting that for a game focused on music. It's nice that it's coming with a CD for those of you that have Relic CD players. So
just rip it into your iTunes. You'll be good to go.
And also, Splatoon has been announced to be coming to Miitomo. So they're going to have Splatoon clothes and hats and stuff that you can get in that game, which I think is a good idea considering how popular in culture Splatoon has become.
Yeah.
And kind of what they're doing with Miitomo. So that'll be fun. I'll definitely try and get a Squid Kid hat or something like that for my character.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I still haven't tried Miitomo yet. So
have you even bothered looking into see if your Kindle will play it?
No, I'm the worst. I don't know what to tell you. I've just had other stuff going on this week.
It's fine. And then as far as releases go, Star Fox Zero and Star Fox Guard come out tonight or tomorrow, if you will.
Fox McCloud here. We need your help. The Lilat system is under attack. Jump into the R-Wing. It's fast and powerful and doubles as the walker. Evasive and nimble enough to get the job done. Overpower enemies with the Landmaster. Outsmart and out-stealth in the gyro wing. Get ready, the galaxy needs you.
Both of us are going to be picking it up.
Yep, as soon as I got the cash, man, I can't
I
wait.
hope a lot of people will pick it up. We're probably going to be talking about that this next week.
Yep, I hope so. I'm just bummed that you and I can't play together because I'd love to do the
co-op mode together.
Yeah, I'll run the turret. You could fly, and then we could flip back and forth. That
would
sounds
be very
like a lot of fun.
I'm going to try and find someone to play that with that way.
Cool, and then you can report back. Yeah, so I'd be interested in hearing how fun it is.
Yeah. And you'll both get our takes on the terrible motion controls, as apparently it's being pushed as.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll probably like it.
I think there's just a learning curve to it. That's what I'm expecting.
If it flies anything like Pilot Wings, or what am I trying to say? Sports Resorts, the plane part in that, where you're holding the Wiimote out in front of you and you actually move it up and down. If it's like that, I'll like it. If it's more of a pointer-based thing, I won't know. I might like it, I might not. I'm kind of back and forth with that style of play, so we'll see.
And then some other downloadable stuff that's going to be available this next week, and a lot of it today. A game called Dreamals, which is a puzzle platformer involving animals that you can different animal characters that can only do one thing. So there'll be like a little cat guy that can only jump. So when you press the jump button, he will jump. And other characters that can only move left or only move right. So you have them set in different spots on the map, on a side-scrolling map, and if you press the left button, it'll move the character that can only move left. And if he touches one of the other characters, he'll combine with them and share both of those attributes.
Oh, cool. That's interesting. So you got to try and bring them together to beat each level.
Yes. It seems kind of like an interesting... I like puzzle platformers, so it seemed interesting to me.
Yeah, it's got almost a Mario Luigi thing going on where you're controlling 4 different guys, 1 button for each guy. But it's definitely different, whereas they're restricted to one type of movement each. That's kind of cool.
Although it doesn't seem to be quite the same, it kind of reminds me of that Tower of Heaven game for PC.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Looks like a Game Boy game.
Yep. That game was
kind of reminds
fun.
me of... The next game is a game called Pinball Arcade, also for the Wii U as a download, which is a pinball arcade game. I don't know anything about it.
I would say just stick with the FX pinball. That's where it's at.
Blockera, which is another puzzle game, which I don't know anything about. And then for Virtual Console, Mario Party DS is being released.
Meh.
Yeah.
Good for you, Mario Party heads. I'm not really into it that much.
Yeah. I like Mario Party games. I never played the DS one. I'm one of the weirdos that likes 9 and 10. I kind of like the car aspect.
Yeah, I've never played either.
It's not my favorite, but it definitely doesn't deter me from enjoying the games.
I think the last one I was serious about was the N60, maybe like 3 or something on N64.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, maybe I should jump back into one.
Maybe.
So, anyway.
And then on the 3DS side, there's more Fire Emblem DLC again this week.
Man,
they seem to be pumping those out every week, which is fine for the people who have beaten the game and are looking for more stuff. Or sometimes the DLC they release is something that's to help you get money or get certain items to help you with the single player.
Right.
So sometimes it's not in-game stuff. It's more like help you get through the single player.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other thing I saw was that the Pocket Card Jockey game has a demo. I only saw that it has a demo, so maybe the full game isn't out yet. They're just giving this out early so that people will try it and hopefully buy it in the future.
And it looks really fun. I went and watched a couple videos after we talked about it. It looks awesome.
Yeah, so on top of playing Star Fox, and on top of me trying to play more Zelda, I'm also going to download that and try it out so that we can talk about it.
I will also play it, and we can both talk about it next week for sure.
Excellent. So that is all the news that I have for this week.
Great. Thank you very much for doing it, Adam. Let's go ahead and close out the show. Where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at iDrawRobots. If you're really interested, you can find me on pretty much any gaming service, also as iDrawRobots.
Okay.
That's where I hang out.
Cool. And you got any of those codes left? We still got another week we can push the codes.
Yeah, we have another week left on the codes, so I've got codes for different area codes.
Area codes.
And you can message me on Twitter at iDrawRobots, and you can ask for one of those codes. I have Wii U and 3DS codes still left for Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge is what it's called.
Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge. You're all over it.
So there's still a week left before it's widely released. If you wanted to get it a little bit early, just let me know.
Come on, guys. It's a free game. I know it's going to be free to everybody in the week, but if you want to play it early, go ahead and scoop it up. You can see some videos of that game on my channel. I'm at Bradley Guys on YouTube and Twitter. It's a little tougher to find me on all the gaming services like Adam was saying. Just find me on Twitter or YouTube. And if you're feeling nice, hook us up with a sub. Adam works hard every week to put the video portion of this show up on my channel, so why don't you reward him with a sub? That would be awesome. And besides that, thank you very much for listening, watching, however you're consuming this. And until next week, we will catch you later.